Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide Today. I am Elizabeth Omori. The newly appointed Board of Directors of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited has been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari with a charge on members to be mindful of the nation's commitment to net carbon zero aspirations by the year 2060. The President, who performed the ceremony, also expects the company to ensure total alliance with the global energy transition realities. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The inauguration of the Board of Directors of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited was in furtherance of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act, which seeks to make the nation's energy industry commercially viable and competitive in line with global business dynamics and best practices. But beyond the simple fulfillment of the legal and regulatory requirements, President Muhammadu Buhari said the NNPC Limited should also focus on profitability and continuous value creation, as well as protecting national oil and gas assets and interests.
The inauguration of this board is a major step in the ongoing transition to a more viable petroleum and energy industry that will attract investment to support our economic growth and generate employment to millions of our people. NNPC Limited is expected to strictly adhere to corporate governance principles that place premium on doing business with the highest ethical standards, integrity, and transparency.
While appreciating the National Assembly for seamlessly supporting efforts at achieving a viable and accountable energy industry, the President insists on full alignment and synergy between the NNPC Limited, the Upstream Regulatory Commission, as well as the Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority towards delivering the reforms envisaged for the petroleum sector.
NNPC Limited is expected to operate at par with its industry peers elsewhere in the world, while acting as an enabler company that will foster the development of other sectors of our economy. I will count on the professional insights and ethical conduct of the board members to ensure the delivery of our promises to Nigerians.
This is history in making, because this is the first time any president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be inaugurating an independent board of an independent NNPC Limited.
Senator Marjorie Chuba Okadibo, who chairs the NNPC Limited board, on behalf of the members, appreciated the President for the confidence reposed in them and promised to live above board in the discharge of their responsibilities.
This new NNPC is like a new child, and we intend to grow it. We intend to mature it. Indeed, it is a Herculean task. But if you look around, you can see I'm flanked by able men and women, and we will deliver.
I want to assure you that the process of implementing the PIA is fully on course. Mr. President also appointed the other members of the Upstream Regulatory Commission and the Midstream and Downstream Commissions. They too will come on board very soon, and then, of course, this segment of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act would have been completed.
The inauguration of the NNPC Limited Board is yet another important step in Nigeria's quest to building a better petroleum industry. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Guests on Good Morning Nigeria have been reacting to the latest exclusive interview of President Muhammadu Buhari with Cyril Stober, aired on Thursday on Africa's largest television network, the NTA. The guests, while discussing issues on the president's interview, say it has inspired confidence in Nigerians. Olusheye Adiagbo has details.
We try to occupy offices with integrity.
One of the rare occasions of a sit-down with President Muhammadu Buhari, it was a tell-it-all affair with Cyril Stober, where he spoke on several burning issues in the country, including security, politics, infrastructural development, economy, among others. For Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, the interview raises optimism with a reaffirmation by the present administration to deliver on all its promises on the Nigerian projects.
If you look at the past 4-6 weeks, you know that there is a difference and things are poised to get better.
Based on reactions emanating from security situation, security risk management experts are hoping that a metrics to measure performance be put in place, while better coordination among Nigeria's 3 tiers of government will fully drive implementation of policies.
So clearly there has been improvement, but unfortunately, and that worries me, that improvement is not being communicated to Nigerians. Rather, the narrative is the opposite.
The federal government is pulling its weight, it's doing its bit, is acquiring assets. These assets are going to be deployed at community levels. So if the communities are not receptive and not supportive,
it is actually possible to develop a peculiar accounting or auditing system that will address us.
The guest has told President Muhammadu Buhari's vision, saying for Nigeria to thrive, citizens must see it as a point of duty to support the government. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Intensive surveillance and 24-hour patrol have been deployed at the Abuja-Kaduna train stations as the government hands over patrol vehicles and scanners to the Nigerian Railway Corporation at the Idu Station, Abuja. Oinaya Kaloka reports that 6 patrol vehicles and 5 digital scanners were received by NRC.
Simon Sylvester is a regular passenger with the Abuja-Kaduna train. It has been a pleasant ride for him, but the attack on the train on the 20th of October 2021, he says, changed his perception about safety on the train. When will security be beefed up? What is federal government doing to prevent reoccurrence? Are rhetorical questions from him always. Although these questions are rhetorics, the answers have been provided with these patrol vehicles and scanners by the federal government.
To improve the security apparatus for the patrolling of that route. We have locations where stations are and where we need the police, the security men to be able to move from one location to the other.
And the scanners will provide additional security so that passengers boarding is not just a route.
Besides these patrol vehicles and scanners, digital security system is to be installed to monitor the impact of any activity on the rail track.
To get some machines to put at various stations, 2 or 3 machines, so easy access, so that if there's any report, they can easily move about.
For Sylvester and other passengers, this initiative shows the seriousness of the government in tackling insecurity in the country.
I will be confident knowing that, okay, there are technologies.
To give us more confidence that the government is truly about securing lives and property.
The patrol vehicles and scanners are expected to be deployed at the Lagos, Ibadan and Itakpewari stations. Oyinaya Kaloka, NTA News.
Away from train services, the fight against corruption received remarkable improvement as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, secures a total of 2,220 convictions across all its commands in the year 2021.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, having recorded 127.5% improvement when compared with the 2019, which has been the highest. In the year under review, however, the Commission secured a total of 2,220 convictions, a feat that has never been achieved since the inception of the Commission. The figure, which emerged from a review of the Commission's performance in the last year, shows that the Lagos command of the agency recorded 481 convictions and stands out as the highest, followed by the Ibadan command with 324, while the Port Harcourt Zonal Command sits at third position with 230 convictions. A statement by the head of media and publicity, Wilson Owajarin, says before this milestone, the highest conviction was that recorded in 2019, which is 1,280. The 2021 record represents 98.49% success rate in prosecution, as the Commission lost only 34 cases during the period. Commenting on the performance, the executive chairman of the Commission, Abdulrasheed Bawa, commended the personnel for their dedication despite the challenges of criminal prosecution in court. He assured that the EFCC will continue to motivate all categories of staff for greater efficiency through capacity development and other incentives.
Now, the Defense Headquarters has noticed with dismay the habit of wearing military uniforms by some politicians for electioneering campaigns. In a statement, the Acting Director, Defense Information, Air Commodore Wab Megida, says campaign posters of some governors dressed in military camouflage uniforms are displayed in their respective states, describing it as illegal and abuse of the privileges. The Armed Forces of Nigeria, he says, remains apolitical. I would not want to be dragged into any form of political bias. The statement adds that the politicians are advised to desist from the use of military uniforms and for political events and other engagements, stressing that anyone found culpable would be liable to prosecution.Nigerians have been enjoined to always support the armed forces to win the war against insurgency and all other forms of insecurity in the country. This was during the Jumat service to mark the 2022 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Abuja. President of the Senate, Ministers of Defense and Information and Culture were amongst other worshippers that attended the Jumat prayer.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them all the strength, all the wisdom, all what they need to continue doing the good thing they are doing for the protection of this country. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them, those who died, those whom were injured, oh Allah, give them quick recovery. Those who are in service, oh Allah, strengthen them. Oh Allah, we call on you to protect our president, increase in his health, oh Allah. Of course, we ask you, Allah, to continue strengthen our National Assembly.
And it's time to join Adeola in our Lagos studio for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Adeola.
Hello, Elizabeth. It has been established that the death of 12-year-old Sylvester Romani Jr., a student of Darwin College, Lagos, was a natural one. The Commissioner of Police, Lagos, Hakeem Udumosu, disclosed this while briefing the media on its latest findings.
The death of Sylvester Romani has continued to attract public reactions and comments, with most crying foul at the pace of investigations into the matter. Lagos State Commissioner of Police, CP Hakeem Udumosu, informed the press that as soon as the case was reported to his command, they swung into action, leading to the arrest of 8 suspects.
If the school are to be in session, then we'll have the opportunity now to interview as many as we can. But the few students that we had access to, their parents brought them here. Only about 6 or 8 of them, the students, brought them here. They attended this meeting with us, and their statements were obtained. After investigations,
Udumosu says autopsies were carried out in Lagos and Delta states at different times by medical experts and all parties involved. The result, he says, reveals that Sylvester Romani died of acute bacteria.
Death was caused by septicemia following infections of the lungs and kidneys arising from ankle wounds. No evidence of blunt force trauma in this body. The findings in the esophagus and stomach are not compatible with chemical intoxication. Death in this case is natural.
CPO Dumoso frowns that, in spite of the transparent investigation and results of autopsies, some Ijaw indigents embarked on a protest at the college gate yesterday, which, if not for prompt intervention by his men, would have resulted in breakdown of law and order.
Fortunately, too, there is coroner inquest, which has started, going to start this Saturday. That's another lawful avenue for them to express so their grievances and make some other legal requests.
The Commissioner of Police advised aggrieved parties to seek redress through due process. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has charged the National Reconciliation Committee of the All Progressives Congress to apply sustained patience and wisdom in its quest to bring aggrieved members back into the fold of the party. He gave the advice when he granted audience to members of the committee led by former governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Adamu, in Lagos. Musa Toliat completes the report.
The visit by the National Reconciliation Committee of the All Progressives Congress, led by its chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, is born out of the need to commend the efforts made by the party's leadership to preserve the unity and sanctity of the party's constitution in Lagos.
We felt the necessity to touch base with you, to solicit for any advice in your official capacity as one of the esteemed stakeholders of this great party, and to see what value you will add to whatever wisdom we may have or we may have been thought to have to be seen as persons appropriate for this assignment.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said, given the APC's popularity and national spread, the committee will be meeting different people with different ideas and backgrounds. Hence, they need to patiently address their grievances with a view to giving them cogent reasons to return to the ruling All Progressives Congress is germane.
I will only just plead that wisdom, patience, is at play, and that for everyone that you'll be meeting to see the essence and the benefits of ensuring that a high-powered reconciliation committee like this, it's a very important assignment, and there's nothing that cannot be resolved. I'm certain that the outcomes will further strengthen unity in the party, and the outcomes will further deepen democracy in our country.
Governor Sanwo-Olu commended the chairman and members of the National Reconciliation Committee of the All Progressives Congress for accepting to serve the party. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. But we'll take a break now for some messages. But when we return, it will be time for Kemi in Ibadan to give us stories from that zone. Do stay on.
Welcome to Ibadan. Conspiracy theories against COVID-19 vaccination on the social media have been described as false and malicious, hence should be disregarded. Correspondent Joe Popola reports that medical experts have attested to the efficacy of the vaccine.
On variant of COVID-19 spreading, most countries are now enacting policies on compulsory vaccination. Most states in Nigeria have made it mandatory for all civil servants to be vaccinated and show evidence to that effect before assessing their place of work. This also applies to those visiting public places. Despite the mass mobilization and enlightenment of Nigerians on the significance of the vaccine, some Nigerians are still skeptical and unwilling to be vaccinated. Medical experts posited that the importance of the vaccine cannot be overemphasized.
We have all had our vaccinations when we were small.
even polio, and we are beneficiary of all those things. So I want to encourage everyone around to avail themselves of opportunity and get vaccinated and put aside all these ideologies so that we'll all be healthy, because it's really not going to be effective if 10% is vaccinated and more than 90% are not vaccinated.
I think there's no reason to be scared. I've taken my own vaccine. I've taken the first shot and the second dose. The whole world cannot be wrong. The scientists all over the world cannot just sit down and plan to eliminate the whole world. Nobody will do that.
To avert another round of lockdown that will disrupt economic activities, medical experts urge Nigerians to get full vaccination against COVID-19 without further delay. In Ijebu-Ode, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
The Kwara State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has promised to strengthen its anti-kidnapping units in 2022 and not relent in ridding the state of vandals. Abdulwahid Bibiri reports that this was at the presentation of the NSCDC scorecard for 2021 and projections for 2022 in Ilorin, the state capital.
Briefing newsmen on the scorecard of his command in the outgone year, Iskil Anyla says Kwara Command largely met its core and complementary mandates as reflected in the number of arrests made during the year. The command's synergy with other security agencies and members of the public have been responsible for the breakthrough, which the NCDC is ready to sustain.
The anti-corruption is handled 454, 395 are still under investigation, 2 were prosecuted, 5 did not, and they were able to recover more than 5 million naira.
In line with the directive of the Corps Commandant General, the Kwara Command is going to be brutal with vandals, cultists, and kidnappers henceforth.
We have been able to train some of our female squad, and we are going to unveil them with the permission of His Excellency, so that we call what we call this adoption of children in the school.
Members of the public are, however, encouraged to always avail the command of the needed security information to avert security breach and make the state safe for all. Abdulwahid Bibiri, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to Abuja with Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Kemi. Ondo State House of Assembly has passed a bill for a law to domesticate an anti-graft agency as part of measures to strengthen the fight against corruption and further entrench financial discipline among holders of public offices in the state. Olubukola Aduwo reports.
Reports say corruption and financial crimes are major hindrances to economic growth in the public service, despite the enormous resources in the country. As a way of changing the narrative, Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu forwarded the Ondo State Public Complaints, Financial Crime and Anti-Corruption Commission Establishment Bill to the State House of Assembly for passage into law. Presenting the report, the Deputy Speaker Samuel Aderoboye said the bill will to a large extent discourage, curb and reduce financial crimes and corruption in the state.
The chairman and members of the commission shall hold office for a period of 5 years and may be appointed for another term of 5 years.
The Speaker, Bamidele Olayelogun, noted that the law will not only promote transparency but enhance productivity in the public sector of the state. Investigation shows that the anti-corruption law has been operational in some states of the Federation. In Akure, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
It was a moment of giving honor to whom it is due as the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency celebrates selected journalists for their contributions to the successful eradication of the wild polio virus from Nigeria, as well as support to the national response to COVID-19, especially the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination and other primary healthcare services in the country. NTA's head of health desk, Rabi Abdallah, backed the Best Health Editor Award, while another staff, Olushaye Adiagbo, also received the Outstanding Correspondent Award.
A standing ovation by the management and staff of the NPHCDA in appreciation of health journalists. The role of journalists as agents of change would always get a mention whenever Nigeria's polio eradication story is told. This role of journalists have also brought to bear on the various programs of the NPHCDA.
You're passionate about doing the right things. You're not trying to get news just for the sake of news. You're doing it because you know that by sharing correct information, we can work together towards getting to that road, that pathway of development that will ensure that Nigeria occupies its space in the Committee of Nations. So really, I thank you very much for your leadership.
The agency award, which was the maiden edition, was in categories comprising broadcast, print and online. Africa's largest TV network, the NTA, shone brightly at the event, clinching 2 of the awards. One for the Best Health Editor in the broadcast category, and the other, the Outstanding Correspondent Award, which went to yours faithfully.
The award means the agency itself recognizes the efforts of the media, and of course the NTA had always been at the forefront right from the period of polio, and of course we're giving the best we can even in the pandemic.
It came to me as a surprise, given that I had no prior knowledge of this, so I feel happy that I'm being recognized in this manner.
The National Primary Health Care Development Agency is the agency saddled with the mandate to control preventable diseases and improve access to basic health services, among other things. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
And the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed 791 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Lagos has 523, FCT 84, Oyo 48, Ondo 35, Kano 22, Borno 16, Delta 15, Edo 15, Ogun 9, Jigawa 7, Bauchi 6, Plateau 5, Rivers 4 and Bayelsa 2. Total confirmed cases now 246,195, with 217,509 discharged and 3,066 deaths recorded. Time to head to Kaduna, where Salamatu is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Salamatu.
Elizabeth, and a warm welcome to Kaduna. With the commencement of the third quarter of the continuous voters registration, Kaduna State Resident Electoral Commissioner Dr. Asma Osani Mekudi says the total number of registered voters in the first and second quarters in Kaduna State is not encouraging. Haruna Muhammad brings up to speed report on the exercise in the state.
Independent National Electoral Commission's record shows prior to 2019 general elections, Kaduna State came third in the country after Lagos and Kano, with a total registered voters of about 3,932,492 registered voters. Unfortunately, since the commencement of the CVR last year, the number of registered voters is far beyond expectation.
In the first quarter, we were only able to register 22,259 people. In the last quarter, that is the second quarter, we were only able to register 20,176. So if you total these two, you have just a total of 42,435 registered voters in the first and the second quarter.
She says INEC will continue to engage relevant stakeholders to ensure free, fair, credible, and acceptable elections in 2023.
The INEC voters card, permanent voters card, is so important in our lives that it goes beyond elections. So many things in life, you can do them in Nigeria with just your permanent voters card.
She therefore called on eligible voters without PVC to ensure they register before the closing date. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Zaria and Kafanchan town have been witnessing massive infrastructural development with greater emphasis on construction of new roads and upgrade of the existing ones. Suleiman Rigachkun reports that the projects executed by Kaduna State government under Urban Renewal Program are to serve as ingredients for socio-economic growth in the two senatorial zones. The report.
Construction work at one of the strategic locations in the ancient city of Zaria. This is one of the many projects being executed by Kaduna State government under the Urban Renewal Program. First phase of the project has been completed, while works are going on steadily in the second phase. Benefiting communities are elated with the progress of work.
We have seen works in Mabuga Market, Tudunwada. For years, we have not seen work like this.
The goods and services are moving fine, and all the roads are being constructed for the good of its people.
Roads are actually very beautiful. Look at the street with the street lights and everything. It is very wonderful. It will boost the economy. A lot of food will come here. The market here will improve.
Execution of such project is not without pain, as most makeshifts have given way for road expansion in the affected areas. This has dislodged many small businesses, which economists say create economic crisis within the small-scale businesses. Sulema Rigachkun, NTA News.
And that completes our report from here. Bright in Enugu Network Center is on the standby for more reports from that zone. But after this timeout, please stay tuned.
Welcome to Enugu. The people of the southeast geopolitical zone are already envisioning the economic boom and seamless traffic that the second Niger Bridge will create when completed. Dora Enwi has an update.
That another bridge across the river Niger will soon be open for traffic is fast becoming a reality. The entire 11.9-kilometer project, comprising the main bridge, 3 other bridges and connecting roads, is above 80% completion. Respondents commended the federal government for her commitment in transforming the economic fortune of the country.
It has a kind of economic umbrella approach both to the southeast and the south-south. If it is completed, we hope that there will be a robust economic activities within the southeast especially. We've been longing for it.
With this very one that is there, with a huge green lock at seasons, you will find that most people that come in here to trade, they've all diverted. So with the completion of this, I will say kudos to the Buhari administration, because that's a milestone, that's a feat.
So the socio-economic importance of it will boost. In fact, it will almost double the GDP of the two regions in the country, the southwest and the southeast.
From all indication, people are optimistic that the 2022 target delivery of the entire second Niger Bridge will be a dream come true, judging by massive manpower and resources committed.
The Buhari administration keeps their words. And I hope they will do that, because when they do that, they have actually given an economic boost to the southeast.
As an economic enabler, the critical national infrastructure upon completion is an all-time legacy for the Buhari administration. In Onitsha, Dora Enwe, NTA News.
For the future of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the choice of who becomes the president of the country in 2023 is very imperative. Former President of the Senate and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator Ayim Pius Ayim, noted this while addressing the People's Democratic Party (PDP) stakeholders in the Southeast. The forum convened by Senator Ayim was to consult with party leaders in the zone on his presidential ambition. Susan Eze has the details.
As the race to the presidential seat in 2023 gathers momentum, the convener of this gathering in Enugu, Senator Pius Ayim, appealed to the PDP to zone their presidential ticket to the south, particularly the southeast.
We want a more united Nigeria.
We all want a safe country. We all want a fair country that gives every citizen a fair shot at every available opportunity. The net result of my consultation is that I have found common grounds with fellow compatriots on the need for a better Nigeria for ourselves and children unborn.
The leaders in this gathering, chaired by the former governor of Abia State, Senator Theodore Orji, resolved that giving the zone a chance is the best way to build a nation where no group is left behind.
What I believe is that we have to give him the maximum support since it is our own and since it is our turn.
If this country wants to go on as one united country, it must practice equity, fairness, and justice.
In attendance at the consultative session were party faithful from across the 5 states of the Southeast Zone. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
That's it from Enugu. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you so much, Bright. President Muhammad Buhari has approved the appointment of Mr. Ayodeji Ariyogbeleyi as the chairman of the board of directors of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says Ayogbeleyi, a chartered accountant and an associate of the Chartered Institute of Taxation, is a well-known financial expert who was once a commissioner for finance in Lagos State, as well as a player in the aviation sector. He replaces Chief Adewale Adesoji Adeyo, who passed on recently. The Nigeria Police Force has unveiled a Special Disability Desk Office in Abuja. Francis From reports that the Special Disability Desk Office is also to be set up in all zones, commands and formations of the force with a view to ensuring justice and the protection of people with disabilities.
Barely 1 month after the setting up of the Special Disability Desk Office in the force, leadership of the Nigeria Police Force has taken further steps to unveil the operations of the Special Desk Office to avail persons with disability unfettered access to police services and promote the dignity of their persons, discourage stigmatization and stereotype, as well as give full effect to discrimination against persons with disability.
Persons with disability may be different in a kind, but are certainly equal to us all. By law and global protocols, they deserve to be treated with respect and dignity and must be accorded due services without being discriminated against anyway.
And for people with disability, setting up of the office by the force means freedom from discrimination.
This is the day that we are being liberated from the clutches of discrimination, inhuman treatment, and other vices against the disability community in Nigeria.
Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, in a message delivered by the Permanent Secretary, advocated for the inclusion of people with disability in future police recruitment exercise in fulfillment of Section 28 and 29 of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Act 2018.
It is our singular belief that when given the opportunity and right environment, persons with disabilities have the innate capacity of overcoming their limitations and contributing immensely towards the development of this country.
I am not surprised at all that the Inspector General of Police has found it necessary to partner in this war or crusade.
Meanwhile, the force equally approved a training program for police personnel who are to serve as the disability desk officers under the coordination of the Force Public Relations Department. Francis from NTA News.
Meanwhile, communities in Nasarawa State have resolved to work in synergy with security agencies through intelligence sharing for prompt response. This was part of the resolutions reached at an expanded security meeting with leaders of ethnic groups in the state. Ali Tijani Mohammed reports.
It is the beginning of the year, and security is topmost on the agenda of the state government. This meeting with all heads of security agencies in the state, traditional rulers, convened by Governor Abdullahi Sule, is to find ways of ending attacks on communities, especially in the hinterlands.
Because there are a lot of issues that had taken place in the last couple of months. I'm hoping that by coming together to understand one another, hopefully we will resolve most of the issues, and this year will be a safer, much better year for every one of us.
While the state government commented the prompt response of security operatives to prevent reprisal attacks following last month's skirmishes in parts of the southern zone, community leaders agree to cooperate with security agencies and expose miscreants amongst them. More security personnel are to be drafted to flashpoints for patrols and surveillance as internal displaced persons return to their places of abode.
The meeting discussed appraised the security situation of the state, and the governor encouraged all the security issues to put in more effort to ensure that the state continues to enjoy the peace it's known for.
Already, normalcy has returned to communities that came under attack in the southern zone of the state last month. In Lafia, Aliu Tijan Mohammed, NTA News.
The FCT contingent of Operation Safe G7 says it will sustain the heat on every element of bandits and kidnappers in the nation's capital's space to restore confidence and security in the areas. Onotu Yakubu, who has been following the operation, brings us the latest updates.
It is day 4. This time, the operation went to Abuja Northwest. Actionable intelligence pointed to activities of criminals at the Buhari-Kaduna boundary forests. So the team traversed the extreme of Kagarko local government in Kaduna State to assess and comb the bushes back towards Buhari. With sustained vigor, they advanced through the forests with a common goal, each watching out for the safety of another.
In as much as it's a collective effort, and the essence of it is not just to leave it to Kaduna alone. If you said you are only limited yourself to the to our assets, to our boundary, and you have an information you don't want to follow, it means you don't know what you are doing. So that was the reason the movement was made to cover that with a few to smoking them out and give them and treat them the way they're supposed to be treated.
After about 3 hours of thorough scouting, the team came to this rendezvous and rest point for the criminals in the forest, with recent activities as pointer to the authenticity of the intelligence.
You can see things that we have discovered there, things that actually indicated life around that place. And that was why we have been in the forest for almost 2 hours now, trying to see and to comb every available suspected camps.
It is twilight, so the team retreated to pick up the trails again the next morning. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
A head-on collision involving 2 passenger buses along Kano-Zara Road has left 19 persons dead on the spot and dozens hospitalized with injuries. Aminu Umar reports that the vehicle caught fire with the passengers inside.
Tell the drivers they should remember it's only the living celebrates.
One accident too many. It is the first fatal accident on the record of Federal Road Safety Corps Kano Sector Command in 2022. It involves 2 18-seater Hummer buses with 45 passengers on board. The Sector Command suspects the accident happened as a result of overspeeding and overtaking. Consequently, the vehicles were engulfed by fire, which claimed the lives of 19 passengers and 26 of them hospitalized at Kura General Hospital.
We tried to put up the fire with the other help of the other security agencies as well as people around, and we were able to rescue 26 people.
The dead who were identified were handed over to their families for burial. In Kano, Aminu Umar, NTA News.
Strengthening bond of brotherhood and regional integration in Africa is an easy way of addressing the myriad of security and economic challenges bedeviling the continent. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje stated this when he received a delegation of officials and Islamic scholars from Algeria in Kano. Abdullah Mustafa has details.
In the delegation led by the leader of Tijaniya Sufi Order, Sharif Ali Bel Arabi, are Algerian government officials, professionals and academics. Their official engagement started with a visit to the Emir's palace, where they were accorded special royal reception by Emir Amina Ado Bayero. At the government house, leader of the delegation told Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje that apart from a national prayer session, they are in Kano to strengthen ties with Nigeria in the sectors of education and cultural development. Governor Ganduje, who thanked the scholar for joining Nigerians in the special prayer session for peace and sustainable economic prosperity, believes that Africa can solve its problems through reintegration and strengthening bond of brotherhood among nations.
There has been for a long time trade link between Maghreb, that is the Arab countries from the northern part of Africa, to Nigeria through Sahara Desert using camels.
The national prayer session to be hosted by Kano State government is to seek divine intervention against the prevailing security challenges bedeviling some parts of the country. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Talking development now, Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade has urged chairmen of local government councils in the state to ensure they trickle-down development to the people in the rural areas. The governor gave the charge during his first meeting with local government chairmen in 2022. Paul Abel reports.
2021, the Deputy Governor, Professor Ivara Esu, and the Commissioner for Local Government Affairs, Stella Udeego, went round the 18 local government areas to assess the performance of the chairmen on how they have brought development to their domain. Therefore, this meeting of the governor with local government chairmen, which was held behind closed doors, is to reel out the results of the tour and commend those who perform excellently. The Secretary to the State Government and the Local Government Commissioner speak on the outcome of the meeting.
The report shows that they have done so well. These projects, as you know, our governor, his idea is to impact on the humanitarian section of governance. The people who went to supervise and assess it have given them marks. In fact, I think they scored over 90%.
He's a humanitarian governor. Reasons why he's charging the chairman to equally be humanitarian in their deeds. He has asked that they return back, they try to relate with people, they try to embark on several empowerment projects, to be able to trickle down development to the rural populace.
Chairman of Ecom Local Government Council, Kingsley Egumi, was adjudged best performing chairman, followed by Boniface Eraye of Ubudu Local Government and Fabian Ogbechi of Yala Local Government Council. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Let's now join our sports desk for some sporting stories.